What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMCLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And guys, for today's video, again I have several very important news. Unfortunately, not all of them are quite pleasant for MMCLP community. But I will explain you my point of view and I will prove you that we had to expect this type of outcome. And I told you multiple times that our efforts should be focused on completely opposite side of the saga itself. On top of that, guys, I will show you quite interesting updates from the litigation path of our community, and I have to admit that we potentially might see some huge updates, and at this time these updates might be very unexpected. So, and before we dive deep into all of this, guys, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm and drop me a line in the comment section if you think my videos are valuable for you. And let's begin today's video with the most so-called unpleasant news. 18 hours ago, NextBridge Hydrocarbons filed this document. NextBridge Hydrocarbons reveals account closure of Hotspet's subsidiary. And here is the official press release. Let me quote you some details. The company is troubled to report to shareholders that in late 2024, our wholly owned subsidiary Hotspet Operating LLC received a written notice from JP Morgan Chase Bank notifying us of closure to its commercial banking account. All the details of the reasoning behind this decision were remarkably vague. The correspondence cited connection to a publicly reported financial investigation. And guys, I have to admit that as far as I understand, this news is not so new, I would say. It was known back in 2024. So at least 2 or maybe 2.5 or maybe 3 months that this news was released, but unfortunately we didn't have any updates from the official C-level executives side. Let me quote you further. We believe this act, known as debanking, is a fundamental misuse of otherwise necessary fiduciary oversight. While in-house enforcement of banking rules is a useful tool in multiple areas, such as cybercrime and money laundering detection, in recent years it has oftentimes become a misused instrument of abuse and censorship. When wielded maliciously to silence political opponents and dissenting voices or facilitate the cover-up of financial misconduct and fraud in securities markets and elsewhere, in the intended effect is to deprive the targeted business of necessary banking conduits required for commercial viability. And guys, I have to admit that definitely I don't like this news, but ask yourself honestly, did you expect this? And I think the answer is obvious. We know that for quite a long period of time we have a lot of signs from Greg McCabe in particular, who doesn't want to, let's say, to be accountable for the actions of NextBridge Hydrocarbons. And the most recent news, the most recent fact that proves this opinion is that on the latest oil and gas exhibition, he was represented under the McCabe Petroleum Corporation, not under the NextBridge Hydrocarbons. And that is why, guys, we have more questions to Greg McCabe, and some of you might think that some of community members wanted to bankrupt NBH. And because of this bankruptcy, all of the MMCLP shareholders will not receive their money ever again, will not see their money ever again. And guys, I have to admit that it is not the case, because regardless of any efforts of certain community members, you know that I'm talking about Scott Road, for example, the company by itself, the NextBridge Hydrocarbons, will not hold their obligations in front of their creditors. They don't have any money on their balance sheet. They have basically just a tiny amount of money, but they have huge amount of debt, about $50 million. And with this debt, And without the ability to collect more money from, for example, additional share offering, and we know that S1 statement was again postponed, at least postponed. Without the ability to collect more money, they will have to file their bankruptcy, regardless of any efforts that are happening outside the company itself. And let me show you some tweets, some reactions from MMTLP community. Junk Savvy published also the same news just several hours ago, and a lot of people are definitely disappointed about this decision. And guys, I have to admit that you shouldn't be disappointed at all, because it was 100% expected step, because I don't see any other possibilities for company to continue its work. On top of that, guys, as I already mentioned, it happened in the late of 2024. And again, you have to ask Greg McCabe, why didn't he disclose this information before? So, and let me show you another quite interesting update. I told you about Scott Roth and his efforts, and here you can see that we are still witnessing a so-called fight in between some of community members. One of them is Scott Roth, and the second one is due diligence. And Scott Roth has quite interesting opinion that due diligence was connected with John Burda long before the MMTLP merger happened. And here is his statement that he published just less than 24 hours ago. He wrote, "Karma collects. So Drew says he talked regularly with Burda before, during and after the formation of MMTLP, and we know because he's Mr. Daggins on stock tweets, and that he was pumping MMTLP along with Stuart, Claire and others. Is the SEC zeroing in on Drew here along with Busy Brains and Junk Savvy? My top 5 list has all of the above getting subpoenas, to include Greg McCabe. This is from the SEC subpoena." And he added this screenshot. It says under the number 7 and 8, "Identify all individuals or entities compensated by Torchlight metamaterial, or any associated individual compensated in whole or in part for discussing in public or online Torchlight metamaterial or the merger. All documents or communications concerning discussion in public or online of Torchlight metamaterial or the merger, including any communications directly with investors or potential investors." And guys, we have an answer from due diligence. He wrote this: "Dear Mr. Trock, I must address your recent claim that I've stated I talked regularly with Burda before, during and after the formation of MMTLP. That's a fascinating narrative, except it's entirely fabricated. I've never said anything of the sort, and you can't present a shred of evidence to back it up, because quite simply it never happened. I've been crystal clear repeatedly. We are talking 200 plus times that I only met John Burda after the halt. I've said it more than 200 times, because that is the truth. The stock tweet posts still up untouched. If you think a few posts over the course of 10 months explaining investor logic is pumping, your grasp of securities law is worse than I thought. Those posts explicitly stated I didn't know the full truth. Commentary, not promotion. But reasoning isn't your thing. Maybe focus on your own legal mess instead of obsessing over me, Junk Savvy or Busy Brands. And when you say your own, I don't just mean the case where you've been slapped around like a wannabe gangster, learning the hard way he ain't built for this. Or the one where you're a defendant for making false statements. I'm also talking about those lawsuits from your little .1209 BSC group that many believe you ghost wrote. Good luck with all that. This is just another weak attempt to manipulate people and simultaneously bite me. It ain't working. I know it kills you that I predicted every ruling in your case correctly, but I think it's time to face a hard truth. I'm smarter than you, Scott. I know it's tough accepting that a guy who enjoys fart noises and drinks an obscene amount of spindrift has the intellectual high ground over you. But here we are. Postscriptum. If you had any balls, you'd at least own up to ghostwriting the 1209 lawsuits. I won't hold my breath though, because let's face it, you don't have balls. So guys, I have to admit that I think this conflict should be also investigated, and I think we might see some kind of resolution through the litigation process, one way or another. And that is why, guys, we have to wait, because on the one hand, I don't like this type of interactions inside the MMTLP community. Our main goal is crystal clear. We have to see the resolution for all of the MMTLP community members. And Due Diligence and Scott Roth also have their main goal completely the same. But they are trying to pursue different paths to this goal. That is why, and probably that is why, they are trying to attack each other. But guys, believe me, it will not lead us anywhere. And I don't see any signs of the relief in this saga. That is why, guys, just stay aside out of all of these type of conversations in order to be extremely focused on our main goal. And take a look right here. We have another update from Due Diligence. He wrote it just recently. There is a right way and wrong way to approach Congress. The right way has yielded countless Zoom meetings, independently sent letters to the SEC and FINRA, countless signatures in the open letter, and commitments to send Dodge letters requesting an investigation. The wrong way is spamming them with emails. I don't mean to offend, I just want results. And guys, it is difficult to argue with this statement, but I am 100% agree with this statement. The wrong way is spamming them with emails, and we can also see this spam through the, for example, random tweets on X. But at the same time, guys, the so-called non-litigation path to the resolution is on the table for more than 2 years, and we are still here without any meaningful results. That is why, guys, I still think that if Dodge will help us within next several months, definitely non-litigational path will be much more preferable for MMTLP community. Otherwise, guys, we still have several lawsuits, and these lawsuits are evolving. Let me show you some details. So, Roman Soups 3 hours ago wrote this update: SEC versus Burda and Palikaras 241 today, meeting notes released. And here is another update, another court filing. Let me quote you this. New court filing, SEC versus Burda and Palikaras. Strong rebuttal to Burda and Palikaras' motions to dismiss. 61 pages, free to download at court listener. A thread, space call tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And I have to admit that I didn't have enough time to read the entire document, but we have some comments, and these comments are quite interesting. Let me show you just for first of all these two screenshots. Number under the section 9, the identity of persons expected to be deposed. The SEC anticipates deposing at least the following persons or categories of persons. 1. Defendants, Burda and Palikaras. It is quite obvious, and it was 100% expected. Next one. Torchlight former board members and or officers who Burda has indicated the intents to call at witnesses at trial, including Robert Cook, Greg McCabe and Roger Wurtele. And I have to admit that this might be quite important update. Next one. Former Meta 1 and Meta 2 officers and or directors expected to have relevant knowledge, including Eric Leslie and Rob Stone. Next one. Former Torchlight consultants expected to have relevant knowledge, including at least Alexander Montana, one or more representatives from Integrus Communications, and one or more of the consultants identified in the SEC's initial disclosures. And it is quite interesting part about the consultants, but I will show you some details a little bit later. So, Next one. In their initial disclosures, the SEC identified 61 persons having relevant knowledge. Mr. Burda identified at least 32 individuals having relevant knowledge at this time, and Mr. Palikaras identifies 72 individuals having relevant knowledge. Certain individuals were identified by multiple parties. As such, the parties anticipate needing more than 10 fact witness depositions and have agreed that defendants may each take up to 10 fact witness depositions without prejudice to later requesting additional depositions as needed. The parties agree that they will meet to discuss efficiency issues where one of the parties is interested in deposing the same witness. And guys, these depositions might be very interesting because with a huge update from and I think these most recent filings in this case of more than 61 pages, I think we have more than enough evidence that a lot of people should give their opinion on this saga, and among others we have top level executives of NextBridge Hydrocarbons. On top of that, let me show you some more tweets from Roman Sukes. He also added, read the whole document yourself for free on Court Listener. Yes, fortunately we have this without any additional fees. Next one, Burda discovery anticipated, and yes, we've already know it. Another update, in case of 1209 group, summons issued, summons out, and Daniel Spears also asking for leave to file a second amended complaint. Summons issued for Greg McCabe, John Burda, NextBridge Hydrocarbons, Roger Woodley. Amended complaint coming. And yes, guys, as you can see, we have the gears are working, and we have some kind of snowball effect from multiple sides, from multiple lawsuits that were filed several months ago. And let me show you another quite interesting update about the so-called consultants. So, Ocelot added this just a couple of hours ago. Real bad stuff. You see this part? Good lord. And the investors just don't seem to care at all. I get they're just allegations at this point. But to not show any concerns is truly unbelievable. And let me quote you this screenshot. The complaint plausibly alleges that Torchlight failed to make and keep books, records, and accounts which, in reasonable detail, accurately and fairly reflect the transactions and depositions of its assets. Torchlight failed to make or keep records that accurately or fairly reflected the basis for its payments of $20,000 per month, with no invoices or contract to an intermediary who received so-called consulting fees for doing no actual work, and that the intermediary funneled those payments to individuals who later formed the management team of the spin-off entity that Burda secretly planned before the merger. Quite interesting statement, don't you think so? Also, Burda caused Torchlight to keep no records documenting why Torchlight paid the stock support consultants $3,000 to $5,000 per month plus stock warrants. Instead, Burda caused Torchlight to enter into generic contracts obligating the consultants to introduce the company to potential investors, which did not accurately or fairly reflect the true nature of these corporate transactions. On top of that, guys, take a look right here. In response to the tweet of Ocelot, and Ocelot wrote, after reading that response by the SEC in SEC versus Burda et al., unless the defense comes out with an explosive reply, I believe the lawsuit will survive the motion to dismiss. The SEC addressed everything they needed to sufficiently, in my opinion, and Platinum added, amended complaint will include more if necessary. Restated financials include a bonus to Palikaras that wasn't disclosed before. And guys, here's another screenshot of the footnote number 19. To extent necessary, the SEC respectfully asks leave to add the following facts to the complaint. 1. The ATM offering proceeds constitute the substantial majority of Meta 2's cash reserves after the merger, $147.5 million of $154.6 million, or 89%, according to Meta 2's Form 10Q filed August 13, 2021. And 2. Meta 2 restated its 2021 Form 10K in September 2023 to disclose a previously undisclosed bonus awarded to Palikaras of $300,000 based upon the successful completion of the reverse merger with Torchlight. Meta 2 for Form 10K-A filed September the 6th, 2023. So guys, again, quite interesting and important statement that potentially everything was known by the C-levels executives of Meta Materials, Torchlight Energy, and Next Bridge Hydrocarbons. At the same time, guys, fortunately, John Burda didn't post any updates in regards to this case. He just posted several tweets related to the most recent scandal in the in between, Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky, and I don't want to even touch this conflict. We have a lot of information to cover from our side. So, unfortunately, I don't have enough time to cover some more news. Probably I will do it tomorrow, but guys, believe me, we are about to see a huge breakthrough in our case, one way or another. And to be honest, we have basically two paths, two major results that will be achieved one way or another. The first option is that we will win this battle, and in this case, guys, the payments to cover all your damages might vary, depends on different circumstances. But otherwise, guys, if we lose this battle, everything will be finished, and it is also some kind of relief for MMTLP shareholders, because in this case you will not have any hopium at all, and you will just close this book, and you will go forward to your future achievements. And guys, let me tell you my personal story. I have a wife and two children aged 11 and 15, as well as a small dog. After 30 years of living in Russia near the Baikal Lake, we decided to move. Now we reside in Serbia. Although I don't own any MMTLP shares, I invest a lot of time creating daily MMTLP videos. I have been doing this every day without days off and holidays for more than 1.5 years. Now I wish to buy back this time from my family, from my children. We've agreed that I will ask the MMTLP community to support me, and I will give all the money to the children. Therefore, if you believe that I am providing useful content for you and wish to support me, you can join my Patreon account. For $5 a month, I will add your name to my list of supporters if you wish. Thank you in advance. The link you can find in the description below. So, I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed.